TechLinked was the world's first linked type channel. And now GameLinked.
What does that mean? What?
GameLinked is the world's second linked type channel. Shout out to my boy, Hideo Kojima.
Well, whatever TechLinked or GameLinked is, now there's two of them, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys might have noticed if you watch TechLinked, the channel this video is going up on, that we launched GameLinked recently. It's been a few weeks? I don't even know.
Yep.
I think we have 8 episodes up.
8 episodes, that's for 4 weeks.
Well, there will be one more by the time this goes up on Monday. But
that's
anyways.
True.
And you might have noticed, I mean, we didn't really address it on this channel that much. We did a community post.
We did.
There was an LTT video.
That's true.
So here we are. If you guys were wondering what the heck is up with GameLinked, what kind of content you can expect. I mean, clearly, we've done some videos already, but we have ideas, plans. And if you're wondering about the background and how it came to be, that's what this episode's going to be. So stick around. And the reason we're here today doing a TalkLinked is because of, we had LTX. People worked throughout the weekend. We're taking today, Monday, off. So we recorded this before LTX to publish instead of a regular TechLinked.
We recorded this in the past. You're watching it in your present.
Let us know how it feels.
Is everything cool?
I'm here with Jakob Rush, the guy who was hired to write GameLinked in October last year.
In October of last year.
Only to wait how long?
Months.
But I mean, many months.
Like
8 months or something?
8 months.
No, really?
8.5.
Oh, June 30th, I think. June 29th is when we launched it.
Okay, so we'll say 8.
That might also be wrong. I just switched to Windows 11 and I don't know where
that's fine.
The calendar is.
The point is it was months.
First of all, how did that feel?
Being hired for something that didn't exist?
Okay, now to be clear, you were hired as the TechLinked and GameLinked writer.
Yeah. Well,
but then you were hired and you were like, no games?
Yeah, that was the weird thing is like
spelled AEMZ.
No games?
No games?
So my first day, you and James pull me into a conference room. You guys go, "Hey, remember GameLinked? It's not happening. Not yet." So
you're writing for MAC address.
No, I remember James literally said, he's like, "So I guess we're just gonna have to find some busy work for you to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays." I was like,
sweeping.
Okay.
Sweeping the floors.
Yeah.
Picking up people's empty coffee mugs.
Yeah. Boosting Linus so he can grab the top shelf.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of reasons why it didn't launch right away. Number one is because, TechLinked was already on a one video a day schedule, and we were doing it 3 times a week.
Yeah.
A channel launch where we do another episode on Tuesday and Thursday would mean,
a video a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah. And Edsel and Nicole, who are our editing people, they lead the editing department, they were like, we just don't have the bandwidth for that. LMG, how many channels do we have? I don't even know.
7
functioning channels. So they needed to hire another editor. They did that, I think, in the fall. I think they hired one before Christmas. And then I'm like, all right, we hired an editor. Can we? When can we launch? And they're like, we need to hire another one. Editor 2 came on board, same problem. But at that point, it was kind of like, all right, we need to get a new set. We need to. We can't film GameLinked on the TechLinked set. Do you remember what some of the ideas were for the GameLinked set early on?
Yeah, I mean, I designed a few of them. Like, I was going for like a vaporwave outrun.
This was
smash.
a whole thing.
That was a whole thing.
Because we went through a whole set design process where, well, it wasn't like a set design process. We knew that they wanted inspo from us.
We were making Pinterest boards.
We made a Pinterest board
for inspiration.
Yeah, and then I realized, okay, this is kind of messy. Honestly, I don't understand how people use Pinterest. It's like all over the place.
It's a lot.
It's nice if you want absolutely everything in like a big internally scrolling thing.
Let's not go on a Pinterest tangent.
I want this to be a Pinterest review episode. Does anyone use Pinterest?
I used Paint. I spent like 20 to 30 minutes in Paint.
Yeah, you do this because one of our ideas was to have the TechLinked set and the GameLinked set kind of be like reflections of each other or be like connected. We were going to have a physical set and have one half of the set be tech linked and one half of the set be game linked, and you could kind of like see a bit of the other set in the other in one of them. You know what I mean? So you came up with this like split logo thing.
Yeah, because I figured like Vaporwave, which is inspired by like early 90s, would really fit in with Tech Linked because like, you know, you're thinking about computers in the early 90s and the big boom of tech, like that sort of fits. And then Outrun is supposed to be inspired, but it's this retro-futuristic 80s inspired thing, and that's makes sense because it's, you know, that's around the time of the big boom of like gaming, like gaming consoles.
Yeah, we were thinking about it.
Yeah.
We went deep. We went deep into our minds and into the internet. Then it was decided we're actually going to do a virtual set.
Yeah, it was revealed to us.
You know, Edsel had this idea to have a virtual set within Unreal Engine. So, which is kind of cool because it's a gaming channel. But quote unquote gaming channel. We'll get to that. So, I mean, you know, all of these details are in the LTT video. If you guys haven't watched it, it's a good one because they go over the whole technology about how we're doing live green screen compositing, where, you know, we don't take the green screen footage and we put it in the computer and then process it. It's processed in real time as we film, and then it's like sent right to the editor in its current state with the background already baked on. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's basically laptops are doing this, PCs are doing this with like, you know, streaming software, but it's like that but way higher fidelity. I mean, if you guys have seen any of the videos, you might be able to tell. Like,
please watch our videos.
Around the edges, there's some imperfection. But anyways, if you're interested in the technical details, there's the LTT video for that. But what we wanted to talk about on this video was kind of like the channel itself, GameLinked content, and what we're thinking about in that regard. So one thing that we noticed when we launched the first video was people kind of being confused about the format or the content. Let us know in the comments if you were confused, because some people thought that when Linus, who talked about this channel way before he was supposed to talk about it on WAN Show, when he mentioned it, he kept calling it a gaming channel. And so people were like, oh, are you going to be playing games on the channel? And maybe we will. I don't know. That's not in the cards right now.
I mean, even before that, the first day I started, one of the colleagues at Labs, Tim, he said, I'm so excited for GameLinked. And then I talked to him like more recently, and he's like, yeah, I thought you guys were going to be doing gaming reviews.
Yeah.
And I guess probably what happened is in the year since TechLinked was first announced, like not the people that were there for it were the ones
you
that
mean GameLinked?
No, TechLinked. People who were there for TechLinked, they kind of knew, they're more familiar with what TechLinked is. So they're the ones that are actually watching TechLinked, whereas the LTT audience at large, there's a large proportion of that audience that isn't also a TechLinked audience. So they probably just saw like, oh, there's a TechLinked channel, there's also a GameLinked channel. Maybe they're related in some way. And then when they hear Linus saying, oh, it's a gaming channel 15 times, they're like, oh, so they're gonna be doing like gaming reviews. They're gonna be doing like all these other things, like all this gaming stuff. Finally, LTT is breaking into gaming.
Which is, you know, we are. It's just when we started TechLinked here at LMG in 2018, a bunch of people wanted something like GameLinked. LMG has kind of dipped its toes into gaming content at various times, but it doesn't seem like this is one of the weirdest things about you guys, the LTT/LMG audience. Ostensibly, supposedly, the reason why you're interested in all this like gaming PC hardware is because you play games. But for whatever reason, every time we like made gaming content on LTT, or you know, if on TechLinked we had like gaming content as we experimented with having gaming content as the thumbnail a few times, and the videos didn't do very well. And we're like, it just seems like the LMG audience, even though they're all gamers, they must be, they don't want to see gaming content from us. So I kind of, you know, people had the idea in the company to start GameLinked. They're like, when are we going to get GameLinked started? You know, and I was kind of like, I don't know, because it seems like every time we've done gaming stuff, it hasn't really done very well. And, you know, LMG does let us pursue passions. Linus let me do 2 tech loggers that took a ridiculous amount of time. But at the same time, we have to be data driven.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like,
it's a business.
But for whatever reason, last summer, I got the directive being like, all right, we're going to do GameLinked. It's time.
Oh, really? That was when?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the summer. I remember James sitting me down in one of my check-ins, and he's like, so we're doing TechLinked. And I'm like,
You mean GameLinked?
GameLinked. And I'm like, okay.
We're doing TechLinked. Haven't we been doing that for years?
Well, and so here's why when you're like, I was hired as the GameLinked guy, I'm kind of like, because the launch of GameLinked was also an excuse to hire you. And to, hopefully hire people to kind of flesh out the news team, as we're calling ourselves. So from the get-go, there was a desire at LMG to launch a gaming channel.
Yeah.
And I think that no one really knew exactly what that would look like. And we are still kind of figuring that out. So we can talk about some of our like content ideas. None of these have been approved, by the way. At this point, we don't even have approval to tell you guys about it.
So what you need to do after you hear this is just bombard every LTT video comment section with this.
Yeah, I mean, what we're really trying to do is obviously what we've started with on GameLinked is gaming news. And we want to keep doing that because we know that that's what we can do, and we're pretty good at it. So we're going to keep doing that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But, long term, we definitely want to expand into other types of content ideas. We're not doing gaming reviews right now, maybe later, but gaming reviews are also something, it's tough. We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you have to spend time playing the game.
And a lot of games now are open world games, and they're just massive. And then you have to decide what do I need to play in order to get the cohesive experience of the game without hopefully doing the entire thing and 100%ing it.
Yeah.
Like a la Gerard the completionist.
You were assigned the idea to come up with some content ideas.
Yes, I was.
So why don't we talk about some of those? Because if you guys hear any of this and you're like, that's something I would tune in for.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it, and maybe we'll do none of it. We'll have to see.
This video doesn't have quick bits, but if it did, they'd be brought to you by Seasonic and their Focus GX 750-watt gold power supply. It's a great choice for mid-range systems at a great price. Featuring a fully modular interface paired with hybrid fan control to reduce overall fan noise thanks to fluid dynamic fan bearings. Focus GX achieves an 80+ gold rating with 90% efficiency at a 50% system load, and it's backed by a 10-year warranty. Learn more about them at seasonic.com or through the links below.
The first one I started with, it's kind of a staple of gaming channels, but it's something I am actually legitimately interested in, and that's D&D/TTRPG actual play. This is probably the least feasible of all of them because it requires a 3-hour commitment.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, the YouTube landscape is so interesting. This goes back a little bit to the sort of discrete audiences thing. Is our audience one that would watch Let's Plays? I don't even know if Let's Plays are really a big thing anymore. It seems like streamers do it. And there are these big channels that do.
Big channels that do it. I think it's harder maybe for newer Let's Players to break into the space, but a lot of people still I get recommended videos a lot that are very few views, but they're people playing games. So it's still something that's very much happening in the YouTube landscape.
I mean, we have people meeting here every once in a while to play games.
I would love to DM you and maybe James, a lot of the personalities. I think there'd be something that really interesting in that.
You just want to suck me into your fantasy world.
I just like doing voices and creating worlds.
You just want to bring me into the world, and then you would just
immediately kill you,
turn the whole world against me.
Everyone hates Riley Murdoch.
Give me weighted dice.
All right.
I try to cast a spell, it rebounds and kills my wife.
All right, I think we're done. I think we covered that. All right, so the other one is something like my favorite game, which is just getting different people from the company to talk about their favorite game, and maybe get the host or a colleague, maybe one of us, to play one of their most memorable moments from that game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there's my favorite game is Fallout New Vegas, and I think my favorite, I'm gonna double check on this, but I'm pretty sure it's Vault 11. There might be one quest that makes you go to it, but you don't even have to go to it. You can go to any of the other vaults. It's not a required location to go to, but if you go there, the story that you experience is
Will
fantastic.
destroy you and make you cry. I mean, that actually sounds. I like the.
You would like it because it's quite philosophical. The other one is the unwritten rules of game design. I kind of find it interesting, because me, someone who's like really into the gaming space and is so familiar because I've been gaming since I was a small child. There's a lot of little unwritten rules that, like, my gamer brain doesn't even contemplate anymore. They're just kind of there. But there's a lot of things that game designers use to communicate certain things that we take for granted because we automatically know what they are. But someone who's maybe more new to gaming would be confused by them. There's actually a really great video, Rasputin. It's called "What Games Are Like for Someone Who Doesn't Play Games."
Oh, I saved that video. I think I started watching it.
It's very interesting to watch. I kind of was inspired by that, and I thought it would kind of be cool to like maybe talk about things that you know from games, but you didn't actually know.
So kind of like a series talking about elements of games that non-gamers might not be super familiar with.
Yeah. So the next one is sort of inspired by something I wanted to do streaming, actually, but it's called Humble Beginnings, where basically we discuss and demonstrate the earlier games in what is now an iconic franchise. So games that generally inspired or spiritual successors that became iconic franchises. So like Fallout 1 and 2, I mean, it's weird to say they inspired Fallout 3, but like they're very different games in terms of gameplay and stuff. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 both inspired Dragon Age, because BioWare worked on those games. System Shock inspired BioShock. Eco inspired Shadow of the Colossus. Devil May Cry and PN03 both inspired Bayonetta. So there's a lot of different games that actually have some sort of inspiration, either something that the creator had worked on earlier that spurred them to create this new thing that became a phenomenon. And I think that's kind of a cool place to explore, is to go back to those original games, see what's similar, see why maybe they didn't get the recognition that they deserved if they didn't, or why they did get the recognition they deserved in their time.
I can see this kind of being a part of maybe a broader series doing sort of like an investigation. I mean, like one thing...
Gamelongers?
Well, so... Gamelongers and Techlongers take a long time to make.
That's true.
However, I feel like there might be space for like a Tech Quickie style gaming thing where, we aren't doing like the deepest dive ever and going and interviewing people and like taking months to do like investigative reporting. Like we just kind of, we write like a Tech Quickie where John makes 3 in a week.
We'll call it game lengthy.
Game lengthy.
Yeah, it's not longer, but it's a little lengthy.
Game girthy.
Oh, the other thing is
you didn't even hear that.
Game girthy. I heard it.
Okay, thank you.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Riley, you're beautiful.
Stop. Okay, next one.
The other one is game first impressions. So I think it would be cool to like either take someone who's gamed a lot in one specific genre, like they have like one genre that they're very familiar with, or just people who haven't gamed a lot at all, and get them to spend like 5 to 10 hours in a game, and then have like a little talk with them, like a talking style round table.
This is kind of the thing that maybe could fill in this like reviews pocket that people are, people thought we were going to do game reviews. We're probably not going to do full game reviews where it's like, here's our definitive take on the subject. But what we might do is, this kind of like Diablo 4 launches. A bunch of people in the office are going to be playing it a lot at home. So then once they've put in a certain amount of hours, we can all kind of like get together and like have like talk about it, maybe talk about our experience.
I think there's kind of 2 prongs to go about it. So there's one where you're talking to people who actually know a lot about that game, and then I think it would be cool to also have someone who's like never played the game before, and like either plays completely different genre of games or doesn't play games.
Yeah, that could work really well.
And have them kind of talk, because you can have one person really nerd off and one person be very confused and be totally looking for answers after their 5 to 10 hours of whatever the game is.
Confusion can be very entertaining.
Yes. Here's the last one that I finally kind of came up with. I've kind of got 2 names for it. Flawed Reviews / Review Reboot. So Flawed Reviews is I'm trying to think of a way that we can sort of do reviews, but it still sort of fits into the comedic flavor of linked channels while also fitting within a time frame.
What is Time to Troy Baker?
Okay, we'll get to that. So like I was thinking either like 1 hour, 2 hour reviews where we literally just review the first 1 to 2 hours of the game, which would be really funny for games that have like really in-depth character creation. We could have so this is what he was talking about previously, the Old Man Murray throwback. They had they had a really strong critique of game design in like the late 90s, where everyone just had crates. So they developed this start to crate metric.
Who's they?
Old Man Murray. So they were an online website.
Okay.
And
I did not know.
Yeah, and so they would basically count the number of seconds it would take for you to run into your first crate or barrel, and that was your start to crate score. But I thought maybe we could update that for like modern game tropes, like time to tutorial screen that pauses the game. So time to Troy Baker is because Troy Baker is in almost every game. The man does work.
So we're gonna have to like look up who. If Troy Baker plays a character in the game and then see how fast we encounter that character.
Yeah, basically. I mean, think of a freaking like series, and he's probably voiced a character in it. It's
almost certainly.
Yeah. Time to actual effing game.
Yes.
Which is games that start with a barrage of cutscenes, games where you're supposed to be this cool character in a mystical world with magic, but for some reason the first 45 minutes of gameplay are you walking through an apartment building trying to find a cat for some reason.
That's the worst.
Anyway, can you make a monster? Which is basically we judge the character creation based on how much we can offend God with our creations.
Now that is like a let's play concept that I think could work, where we're there. We're basically doing like Mario Party mini games where we're in one part of a game and we're trying to see who can do a certain thing first.
Mm-hmm. And then my last idea was, does it have couch co-op? And if not, 0 out of 10. So the whole idea of like review reboot, because I was kind of I didn't bring this up to you, but so I had the flawed reviews idea, but then I thought of like, what if we just for fun decided that every different review we would be reviewing that game on a completely different metric that was somewhat arbitrary,
reviewing it on like view distance.
Yeah, like just like everyone had like a very specific
verticality.
Yeah, like some sort of very specific metric that only applies to like that game.
Tears of the Kingdom would win on that one.
Yeah, so like that would be like one, like it would be like
you can fall for like 10 minutes or something. Okay, so I mean, if any of those concepts tickled something inside of you in a totally
platonic
harmless way, let us know and leave a comment. We're excited to have GameLinked launched, and we're excited to do some more stuff with it, other than just news. Maybe. Again, this is all very speculative, but we basically want to know what you guys want to see. So we can hopefully make some content on this gaming channel, not just gaming news. But for now, 100% what we're doing is gaming news.
Yeah. And then in the future, you just let us know how you want these monkeys to dance.
I take offense to that. I don't dance, and I'm not a monkey. Ape. Change it to ape, and we're good.
These apes can boogie.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching, guys. This is sort of a Talk Linked. It seems like we're only doing Talk Linked on days where we physically can't go and upload a regular Tech Linked episode. But subscribe. Let us know if you want to see more of this. Let us know what you want to see on GameLinked, and we'll see you soon.
And as always, I love you.
That's my thing. Love you.
I love you too.
I wasn't talking to you.
Sorry. Yeah, right. Cut that.